Yeah, there's something about creativity that it doesn't necessarily have to abide by any laws of logic, and it can still be beneficial.
Yeah. And that to me establishes that the notion that language is the only way that we can know about the world. You know, Wittgenstein had this perspective, that the limits of my language, limits of my world. That seems to me utterly wrong. I mean, the experience of music reveals things about the world that I think are beyond linguistic.
If you can talk religion with a really intelligent person who's objective, who has a belief, it's such an interesting subject because it requires suspension of disbelief in order to absorb some of the stories. But there's clearly a history behind this of thousands of years of translations, and you're trying to get to what did they mean when they wrote this down, and how much did they know, and what were they trying to do? Were they just trying to get everybody to calm down and stay in line?
Right. Or were they trying to find some means of gluing the group together by a shared belief? Yeah. Or, there are folks who basically say that there are qualities of the human brain that naturally leave it open to a religious sensibility.
Yeah.
So I think you're absolutely right. Having a conversation with somebody who has a religious perspective is deeply interesting.
Yes.
To understand where that mind came to the place that it got to. And from a personal sensibility, I give you, I just give you one little anecdote. My dad died. I was 23 years old. And unexpectedly, I'd been visiting home. I was at Harvard at the time. I was visiting from Cambridge, and we had a nice weekend. And by the time I got back to Cambridge on the bus, my mom called me and said, "Dad's dead." It was so shocking. It was like so sudden. It was so complete. And I remember I went back home, and my dad was not a religious man, but we knew that he would want to have a religious ceremony, and we did it. And we had, a minion of Jews coming to the house to recite the Kaddish prayer because we weren't religious. We didn't know what we were doing, And I had no idea what these men were saying, but it was deeply comforting. In fact, I didn't want to know what they were saying. To me, it was just a collection of ancient sounds, but the sounds connected me across the generations to a culture that had been extending back 5,000 years. And in a moment of crisis, that was a very comforting and useful connection to have.